Hey guys, it's Lumen02, currently getting ready to record the Chainsaw Massacre or Highlander event 4.26. It's a 9-player event, which will include 3 rounds of Swiss. And sorry about that, guys. Got a late entry. Alrighty, so we've got Nagaruna and SpencerBot underway. SpencerBot is on an academy list that I put together. And he's playing against Nagaruna, who I believe is on a reanimator build, but I have not seen the list yet. We can go ahead and check it real fast. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to do a little bit of admin here. Alright, so careful study. A reanimator of some sort. I don't know why he didn't play a land turn one unless his plan was to discard, but he drew this careful study regardless and didn't have to just discard it. Or he just kept a greedy hand. And her effect, I don't know if that's disadvantageous, or it's an advantageous bug. So she can no longer be killed, but she still gives all your creatures -1/-1. That is kind of a bad bug to have. Alright, so mana, go. What does he have for payoff in the hand, though, is kind of what I'm wondering. It feels like he probably has a Stroke of Genius hand. That's kind of what I'm guessing. Okay, we're sacking that. So maybe he just had a big mana go nowhere kind of hand. I don't know. So he's sacking through the eggs. You really need to have a way to find Tolarian Academy and a way to draw into more cards with this deck. It's very much so a combo-oriented deck. I have a feeling that we're going to probably see a Woodfall Primus reanimated. That makes a lot more sense than Elish Norn against essentially a creatureless deck, which SpencerBot is playing. Oh, maybe not. Let's see what else is going on. So we've got this match up. This should be 4-color Blood versus White Weenie, so aggro versus mid-range. Dragon, interesting. It also reduces its own casting cost. Alright, well, neither player really kept a powerful opener, it appears, in this game, because they're not really doing, I think, what they expected their deck to do. Alright, this game is underway. So this is 4-color Scapeshift versus Blue-Red Moon, I want to say. Which is actually an interesting matchup. So Noble Hierarch for the mid-range player on 4-color Blood, and a standard aggro start for White Weenie here. Okay, so we have the Tolarian Academy. That is a strong thing to have. Now you really just need to have some sort of draw, or a way to go infinite. So the way this deck works, it's a 4 or 5-color deck, I can't remember, I think it's 5-color. It utilizes Fast Bond plus Zernor plus Crucible of Worlds to go infinite with Tolarian Academy, and then either kill with Emrakul or kill with Walking Ballista. But in between then, it does a lot of other nonsense, like just drawing bazillions of cards. Alright, so we have a Tidehollow Sculler, which is not going to be a suitable block. Well, I guess it blocks the Thraben Inspector out at a minimum, and allows her to kind of get some attritional value. It's just not a great blocker. You really want to have something like, Luxodon Smiter or something here. Alright, so we've got a Brainstorm. Thought Scour in response. That's cast by Rejuvenate. Brainstorm with Fetch Land. Standard, powerful play. Both of these players are actually Canadian Highlander players that have jumped over. Galrin is playing a Scapeshift deck that on my making. And like I said, Rejuvenate's on UR Moon. Who else is in game right now? Oh, ML Berlin. Let's see if this has been updated. Alright, 4-color mid-range. So let's go to match listing. We're going to put this in here so it is Garland. This is going to be confusing because these players' names are so close. And let's delete this by. Sorry about that, guys. Now that the admin's done. And so Dots is possibly on 4-color blood. He's obviously casting. Oh, okay. Well, that's going to get countered. ML Berlin has Caracas with Ismaru, so I guess he can protect his dog. However, the 4-color blood deck, I think, should tend to win against White Weenie. I don't think Sucknalis has had good track record with it. This is one of the good cards in the matchup. Sylvan Caryatid makes sure you can get a 4-drop Planeswalker down the turn after it comes into play, and it also blocks out most of the Weenie threats. And has a hard time being blocked. Alright, so we see a mana drain on a makeshift mannequin during main phase for Nagarhuna. And I assume, the Woodfall Primus could knock out the Ensnaring Bridge. Realistically here, though, what Spencer needs to draw is a payoff card. Ideally, draw. Alright, well, that's strong. Obviously, you don't want Spire of Industry on top. Well, what do we have for a bazillion mana? It's possibly a Whir of Invention. That's kind of what it feels like. Or a draw card. Okay, Walking Ballista, just to kind of hold down the fort. So he did have the payoff card, he just doesn't have the engine online yet. Well, no one's countering any spells now. And not many things are going to be able to attack through the Ensnaring Bridge that I put in this deck. Alright, Oath of Jace. This card's actually probably fine for him, too. Even if he reanimates... What does he reanimate? The Woodfall Primus? And then if he reanimates the Woodfall Primus, what does he blow up? There's so many good permanents in play. Like, Future Sight is awesome. Ensnaring Bridge is holding him back. Tolarian Academy is the engine card. I don't know what you do in that case. I think it has to be Future Sight, honestly. I mean, none of these creatures that he has really do anything. It would need to be something along the lines of Gristlebrand just to draw him a bazillion cards. Or what does this thing do? That could win. Very slowly, though. A lot of draw steps with a Future Sight in play. This Academy deck is very spooky. Wrong matchup. I kind of want to see where the shift game is at. This is Weenie. Weenie versus mid-range. Blue-Red Moon versus mid-range. Alright, we're in the middle of a preordained turn. Obviously considering. Okay, Sung is pulled ahead on cards at a minimum. She obviously wants to be hitting land drops here so she can kind of fog this aggression. It looks like she's not going to get there on lands, though. However, well, she's taking 3 a turn, a bunch of 1/1s. An Anthem effect could just lose her the game here. If you had to play a land, that would be one of the ones you'd want to play. She takes 3 a turn down to 6. Obviously, the Griff's Boon is problematic. So I think she is actually behind here. Alright, Spencer draws Demonic Tutor, which is probably good game. What did he blow up? He blew up his means to defend himself, which is Ensnaring Bridge. His question's got to be, what do I get? I mean, it could just be draw. But I don't think he needs to do that. I mean, he has, the Buried Ruin on top. Fast Bond. Okay, well, then that probably means, yeah, this is probably game. Yep. Just throw it off the top. Throw it off the top. It's going to go to the discard pile, but hey, whatever. It's legal. Okay, Time Spiral is really what you want to be casting here. Yeah, that's one of the ones that recently got made legal, and I do think it's a fine card to make legal. A lot of folks think it's like one of the most busted cards of the format. Really, it's not. I mean, it does enable combo, but you have to think, like in this game right here where his opponent's reanimating, like he had a slow start, and that is going to punish you. Alright, so what do we do now? Alright, Emrakul of the Aeon's Torn. That would be game. I mean, you can even Demonic Tutor here for some nonsense. Alright. So the Academy deck doing what the Academy deck does. The board is still stalled. Alright, Arc Trail. Arc Trail was a good one for her to draw. That at least ties up his mana to utilize the Griff's Boon. She's able to get rid of the Suture Priest and the Griff's Booned up Precinct Captain. She still realistically needs a flyer or some instant speed removal for when he reattaches this thing to buy tempo and ideally find a window to start attacking, because he's a 22 life and she's really not doing much, although she has fairly infinite selection. Although if he's opting to play out creatures, I think that's okay as opposed to just like going for the kill with the Griff's Boon there. Alright, so Dots is taking care of this Baral. Alright. 4 cards to 7. That does not... Well, it really depends on what Galrin's holding here. This is a Scape Shift deck. It is more combo-oriented, but it does have its own permission. Psionic Blast. Interesting. But on 7 cards, it's quite a few. I think you just want to bide your time on the Scape Shift deck and just develop your board. All right, so Noctalis appears to, well, it's hard telling. Yeah, he probably has. Oh, he definitely has advantage. He has a Garruk. Okay, terminate the flyer. Go in possibly for an attack, but his attacks on the backswing are not profitable because he'll get 1/1s every time. Although there was some credence to just going for the ultimate on Garruk. Maybe he will next turn, I don't know. Okay, so Snapcaster is going to recast what? Thought Scour, I suppose? No, it could recast Psionic Blast. It's pretty aggressive, but yeah, Thought Scour, that makes the most sense to me. The 6/5 is getting in there. Getting a chump. Makes sense. She probably wants to play something like a Finks or something like that just to buy some life back and also get another attacker on the board. What is this thing that's under here? Banisher Priest. Okay. Okay, these are attacking. Okay. Got Electrolyze going at the Snapcaster in response to the Thought Scour. Vidalcan Shackle is put to bottom. Vidalcan Shackle is actually not a great card in the matchup. Only really one extremely relevant creature in the deck, and that's Titania. Alright. Alright, tap land turn 1. Alright, Dots is getting in there with a Sword of Fire and Ice, which seems pretty good against this Goblin Electromancer. Oh, Garland's on 0 cards. That is not good. To his 4. This game's probably over. Going to 4-color Blood. Alright, gets in there for a little bit of incremental damage. This is actually pretty good for Galrin because they're close to card parity. He's up on mana, but he's also forcing his opponent to utilize removal on Finks, which is awesome. Like, you're forcing them to utilize their mana to remove a threat that's not really that great, and just it basically forces them to act, and it comes back, so it's just card advantage. So despite his opponent, being at 7 cards in hand now to his 5, I think Galrin's not in a horrible spot. Thing in the Ice, meh. I mean, flipping Kitchen Finks is not what I would call good value. Alright, so we have Ancient Tomb into Demir's Signet versus 2 lands, but we have a Spirit of the Night. Is that what it is? Yeah, an old Legends card. It does have haste. Or is this Legends? I can never remember if this is Legends or if Mold Demon's the one from Legends. Yeah, this one's actually newer than that, I think. Alright, so Egg. Could blow the Egg up right now just to draw. Depends on what he's got in hand. Okay, so the Sylvan Caryatid is being blocked here. So he obviously didn't cast the Lingering Souls because he has something else that he wanted to cast at instant speed. Okay, he blows this up in response, so the block doesn't kill the Sylvan Caryatid. Makes good sense. Alright. So Sung is at 4 life and looking at a lot of damage next turn, but she can also dish some out too. I mean, if she can survive another turn, she could possibly turn this game, because he's going to have to start blocking. Yeah, if she's putting him on top, she doesn't have to concede here, which is good for her. Alright, Ajani blowing up the... No, the Core Firewalker wouldn't work. So he gains 1. She blows up a blocker, gains 3, up to 7. Because she can't tap that thing down, because it's prot red, right? So she has to bolt one of the soldier tokens out of the way. And then can start doing some legitimate damage, actually, in return. I mean, the Scrap Heap Scrounger turns sideways every turn regardless, right? Yeah, I mean, it has to. It can't block. Alright, so Demonic Tutor out of Galrin, which is a strong one. He could be winning this turn because his opponent's at 16. Yeah, if he goes for Shift, he just wins the game here. So he probably has Scape Shift. As long as his opponent does not have exactly Spell Pierce, Force of Will, that's about it. So Spell Pierce, Force of Will, I guess Invasive Surgery, but that's a really weird card to have in your deck. You don't see it a lot. Okay, well, Bitter Blossom, turn 2 against Blue-Red is pretty much a death knell, unless they combo you out. This is the win because he has 18 damage that he can do against 16 life. So his opponent really has to hope that he has Spell Pierce here, and if he does not, well, that's game. I think we're going to see a shift kill here. Galrin also has Spell Pierce in his deck, or my deck, I suppose, as it were. Okay, so Inventor's Fair hit the board. That's either... What is that going to be? Oh, Tezzeret the Seeker found Winter Orb? Yikes. Alright, this thing can't attack. None of his lands are untapping. He's tapping it for what? Like a Brainstorm or something? Brainstorm is pretty bad against Winter Orb, so is Ponder. Yeah, this Academy deck is just disgusting. Like, it's a mean deck. There are a lot of ways to stop it, but... Well, let's see if he has fast effects to react to this Scape Shift. If he does not, like I said, it's just a game over. Alright, well, game over. game right here is pretty sweet. It's definitely a struggle. The struggle is extremely real here. Maelstrom Pulse. Well, that can at least blow up what? The snare? The Griff's Boon is possibly a legit thing to blow up. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is just that prop black. I'm thinking of, what am I thinking of? I'm thinking of Mirror Crusader, or not Mirror Crusader, the really old one, the prop red black guy. So that thing is gone. Gets in there for 6. Now, she can, or he can, activate the Mutavault and attach the Griff's Boon. No, not quite. 1 mana short. Okie doke. Well, now Golden Lyn can. This game's actually really tight. I'm curious to kind of see how it plays out. And there we go. That's 18, and good game. Scapeshift gets a win. Yeah, this one right here we can probably just stop watching. Dots has got the win here. Bitter Blossom is just a horrendous pounding against Blue-Red. It looks like he got to class him off, but like that's not even great. Because the Blossom just stays there and does its thing. Alright, so Huntmaster of the Fells, some additional life to be gained here, and that's probably going to be game for the 4-color for this game, because 4-color blood is just going to pound the living daylights out of her right now, or him right now. Because if she gets to flip, I think that's lethal. Because I don't think this counts as casting it. Yeah, return. So if he does that play again, then the thing's going to flip and become a 4/4, do 2 + 4. And he's dead on board anyway, so he needs to leave Mutavault back. Yikes. Should turn that game. That's good. That was probably the best game that's been played so far. I mean, like, this game is sweet, but I mean, it's not really all that cool, because he's just going to kill them with Tezzeret. Tezzeret, unable to be attacked by Ensnaring Bridge, is kind of a beating. Obviously, his own Winter Orb is slowing him down some, but I think that's definitely worth it. All right, Mind Stone. Walking a Ballista. I think I actually may tutor for the expedition map, and then once you have the expedition map, you can find the academy and then just go pretty deep with that. I don't know. It depends on what he's got in hand, though. All right, so Goblin Dark Dweller is good value. It's just really slow. Like, this is a card I tried to make work in this format. I just don't think it's good enough. I think it's too slow. You can tell right here. I mean, it's not like... Maybe he could race with it, but like I don't think so, because I mean, like, his opponent's taking damage, but he's likely just to activate the Stirring Wildwood this turn, slam with everything, and say, hey, if you want to block my Anafenza, like, I'll do 8 damage to you down to 4, and then hey, react to my board. And if you're at 4, there's a +1/+1 counter on the Stirring Wildwood. You're gonna die the next turn if you just react to the board. So yeah, this match is kind of rough. All right, Sung got him. Which, that was a sweet game. That was, like I said, probably the coolest game of the bunch. Alright. Well, this is like a slightly different start for ML here. It looks like this is going to be a beating, unless he's got a bunch of removal. So... Sorry, guys. Text. Rebuff of the Wicked. I don't think this card's great, but it's pretty stellar right there. That's a beating. I mean, on 4 cards to 1, well, what's his last card? If it's an Anthem effect, that's Rough Beats. That's probably dead if it's an Anthem. No, it's not quite. No, it is. That'd be 12 damage. If he can buff these things one time. Alright, well, what is his follow-up? White Weenies is one of those decks. It's actually very efficient to build, very cheap to build, and it's a very strong deck. I'm a huge fan of it. Alright, Dot's got the match. Yeah, kind of as expected. We had a block on Anafenza. Took, 8 off of this, and lethal attacks regardless of what happens on the board next turn. Unless he can destroy the land plus kill the board, which is not likely. So Cinderglade first turn. So he has Lightning Bolt, Burst Lightning, or Firebolt in hand. Very likely, because normally speaking, you don't want to fetch the red mana out unless you really need it. Alright, so alright, that's lethal off of Tezzeret Ultimate. I think he could have won faster, though, if he'd gone for the Expedition map. Maybe not. Expedition map for 1 while he was at 4, down to Crucible. Maybe not. It would have been tight, but... Yep, alright, so SpencerBot gets the match on Academy. Kind of a breakout deck, one that has not been played in this format yet, but one that I kind of showcased in some of my YouTube videos before. I think is very cool, and he's playing a similitude of. So, alright, so we have an opt. What is he looking for? Black mana, possibly. Black blue or black green is preferable from this position, depending on what he's got. Alright, he has black. You do want double blue in this deck, because it does rely on some counter magic. Farseek's good, though. This is going to get a tropical island. Oh, I'm sorry, it'll get a breeding pool. I don't know. I don't know if I burn that off there. I think that may be a weaker line. Maybe not, but I don't know if I burn that thing there. All right, he gets a personal tutor now. Alright, so Skyshroud Claim makes sense. That's going to allow him to get the additional green sources so he can't get blown out by a Singleton Wasteland here. No Strip Mine in the format. Alright, so Maelstrom Pulse knocks some things out, but, I mean, we're going in... No, we can't go in for 2. But the Stillmoon Cavalier kind of does lock it up, right? Because the Shambling Vent cannot attack here. And this thing has flying, right? Or it can have flying? Yeah. So Stillmoon Cavalier should block him out. He can't attack with Shambling Vent. He's really got to be able to remove this Stillmoon, or else lose the game. Alright, it looks like some of the matches have ended. I'm going to go... match listing here. Alright, well, he's got the lands. He's counting. He's fine with 2. Having 2 mountains in play is not a big deal. When you start getting to 4 or 5, it becomes an issue, and you need to brainstorm to kind of get rid of them. Alright, well, if he's got removal, it's going to happen in response, I presume. Now, this thing just can't be blocked, right? He just gives it flying and goes over the top of the Raging Ravine. Yeah. Okay, a Demonic Tutor. Wonder what she has to hose Weenie, or if she just has, like, Toxic Deluge or something like that. Not that that would be good with a Llanowar Elves on board, but... Alright, Skyshroud Claim. You're going to counter it, mana drain it. That's pretty good. I think I would have probably just passed it here if that's my only play. Just said, alright, go. Eventually they need to play something, and I think playing into their counter magic is kind of rough here. Now, you obviously couldn't have known they had mana drain specifically, which is like the worst case, but they're showing interaction of some sort, you know. Alright, ML Berlin gets this one, so congrats to ML. Alright, Fact or Fiction, main phase off of all this mana. And that's pretty tough. That's going to be tough to come back from. Alright, a Johnny. That feels pretty good to get rid of a Mirren Crusader with a Johnny. Even if the Johnny's going to die, like that thing's just a huge threat against the 4-color blood deck. It is generally pretty tough to deal with. Alright, in a Finza. The Ajani goes the way of the yard. Let's make sure Michelle is in. Yep, green ramp. Cool. She may get the bye in round 2, we'll see. Alright, so an impulse and a fact or fiction occur. I didn't see what was put in hand. The censor and anticipate. Not horrible. Well, a third mountain is not great. Not great at all. Treasure Cruise. So unless he had brought Red in, did he bring Red Elemental Blast in? That would be a beating. But if not, then okay, that's a big game. That changes things significantly. Alright, Path to Exile is pretty rough here. Although, you know, with life totals where they're at, like, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. Like, 2 cards are 2 cards, but up on land significantly. Yeah, not horrible. Oh, are these two still in game? My bad, I thought that was their last game. No, that's right. Suknalis won the first one. Alrighty, so I like Suknalis' position right now. This doesn't really do anything, does it? It already has. I mean, you have to exert it. Okay, he's got some sort of, like, trick. Pretty obviously. Alright, strength of arms. Its arms are really strong. Alright, Demonic Tutor. It's also a big game. Letting him get the card. May just be a basic land. Or it could be a mana drain of his own, but I don't know what he would need to mana drain. He's actually short on green mana right now. He wants 2 of them. Anticipate? Yeah, that's probably whatever. Alright, so we've got a 4-1 slamming down over here. Yeah, he's going to block. Alright, well, I would definitely eat my own Llanowar Elves to keep my 4-1 around. Yeah, that makes sense. Llanowar Elves has probably lost its utility once you're on 2 green sources with 5 lands on 4-color blood. Alright, so a 3-3 is, I guess, getting in there? Nope, just passing it back. The one cool thing is it's going to be kind of tough to race the Glory Bound. Probably just attack with Exert and then re-equip if you have to on the Basilisk Collar, which will hold back the fort, like all these big things. And honestly, like the Dark Confidant could be a problem for Seknalis himself. He may just block with it here just to... Okay, yeah, Blood Moon is more problematic. I mean, it's doable. You can deal with it, but you do need some of your basics. We'll see if that resolves. Resolves definitely changes the dynamic of the game. Alright, it's going to resolve. It's possible he has Forest plus, like, Abrupt Decay in hand. Oh, just Bolt. Is it Charm? Okay, Is it Charm will bolt the Magus of the Moon. Yep. Gonna have a sensor here, which is kind of embarrassing because he knew he had it. Alright. Or he may just have another answer and not want to use it. There are several red burn spells in the deck, which, another mountain is no bueno. It's going to be tight now to kill with Escape Shift. 4 is an awful lot. Okay, Golgari Charm gets the board. You have a Paladin Envec, which will be a first striking Death Toucher. Alright, well, evidently, Sung has been kind of drawing some nonsense here. Well, the game's not too far. Oh, okay. Well, that's not nonsense. That's actually straight business. Bounce the Anafenza likely back to hand during his turn. In response to him probably casting something. What got exiled here? Oh, Saskia. Alright, well, you probably... I don't like that. I guess it's not that relevant, but... Meh. Alright, bounce the silly Anafenza, dude. You're just giving free value right now. I think you just bounce this thing. Alright, well, this thing's getting in there. Does not choose to block. Interesting. Snapperino. You have a counter for this as well. What is he casting with this? Demonic Tutor for Lightning Bolt, maybe? Yeah, probably. Yeah. I assume he's he's got to deal with this. The Magus, 1, is going to kill him, and 2, like, it's a problem because he doesn't want his Forest to work here. He needs green mana to make this deck work. My guess would be like Lightning Bolt. Actually, you know what? Firebolt would work as well. Firebolt's actually a better answer. What is going on here? Like, why would you go for Demonic Tutor on his turn? Huh. I'm lost, I guess. Alright, a little bit of drain here. Oh, timely reinforcements. It's a big game, too. Alright, what's the draw step look like? Evidently nothing good. Or removal or something like that. Really, the Rune Chanter's Pike is kind of the problem at this point, because even if the Magus dies, then the Fairy Conclave becomes unlocked, which means it's an attacker that can be equipped up with the Rune Chanter's Pike. Yeah, running into that sensor seems really suboptimal to me, especially knowing that he had it in hand off of a Fact or Fiction that was played. But there's always the next game. Okie doke, Noble Hierarch plus an Ajani. Well, Ajani is probably dying to the... I guess, yeah, the Paladin Invec. Seems like it would be problematic. Yeah, I was going to say, go to game 3, man. You're at too little time to turn this one. I hope we don't see a timeout win here, but we may. Well, what did ML draw? Be like the best. The best is probably just a Cataclysm there. Just say, alright, you keep your Rhino, I'll keep my Paladin, go down to 1 land, lose your Walker. Given if that's the case, you attack the face, not the Walker. Alright, this feels like a Lightning Helix, yeah. Which I think if I'm him, I actually save that and just bolt with the Ajani. I guess you don't have to. It gives you a little more time. Oh, mulligan to 4? That does stink. Okay, Thalia off Bloodbraid is good. Well, if Sung ever finds an answer to the Oblivion Ring, I think the game probably ends. Although maybe not. Alright, tapped. You have to use your Caracas in response, right? And or the Verdant Catacombs? Ugh, yeah, you had to Caracas in response. This can name lands, right? Yeah. Although, now attacking with the Kythian becomes a lot more dubious. As you block the Bloodbraid on the Kythian and the Thalia on the Soldier of the Pantheon. Take 6 down to 3. Yeah, it's still not good. Okay, we opt. Do we go top or bottom? Bottom. Okay, well, we're missing here. This game's probably, unfortunately, over. Okay, just get in there with one of them. What's our best draw? Toxic Deluge, probably. Wasteland was certainly not it. I'm not sure if this is game 3 or game 2. I think this is probably game 3. Alright. Well, we found another land, at least. This will be an underground sea, more than likely. Just an island. I think you want to leave up Abrupt Decay there. You get the opportunity to get a free loot off Loot House, which is good for him. Okay, well... I mean, a sword would be pretty good right here. Okay. Well, does he have a way to get through? Gain 6 every turn, I suppose. Alright. Mana drain into rampant growth. Can you use the mana for anything is the big question. Probably not. I mean, if he ever gets a sort of Feast and Famine, ML Berlin that is, I think he just wins on the spot. Yeah, it's an automatic kill. Alright, drawing cards. Leaving up Lightning Bolt and or Path to Exile Swords to Plowshares. Alright, looks like he's calling game here. Unfortunate, but that does happen. Alright, so that game was game 2. So we got a 4-4 coming in. It looks like she's got some more traction as a more aggro start, or the normal aggro start, or a more aggro start. Alright, so he electrolyzes and calls it. Alrighty. Well, that stinks to see the game end on that account. Alright, this feels like a Marchesa. No, just a Kolaghan's Command blowing this silly thing up. And Lawnmower Elves, as you were. Alright, so Vindicate actually blows up, not the Silverblade Paladin? That seems wrong to me. The Silverblade seems pretty good. Now a card engine comes down. I mean, given he's already got a card engine too. Alright, Whipquarter, a tapper. I mean, you might as well attack with the Silverblade Paladin. What's going to block that thing? I think you do at least. I mean, what's really going to block it successfully? Alright, Fatal Push? No, just drainage. Some drainage. Alright, so we've got a flying threat. It's moderately interesting. Really not enough... Oh, he's at 1 life? Yeah, this is over. I don't know about that, man. Maybe. You got to play with the deck a little bit to understand it, know it. He said he was fishing it earlier, though, I think on Trice or X-Mage. So I loaned him this deck. Alright, so he's attacking. Makes sense. Now, if she has a removal spell for the arrow responder, I think the game is just over. Actually, I know it is. Maybe it is anyways. So the arrow responder blocks what? I mean, because he can activate the Stirring Wildwood, which kills anything in blocks. Alright. Yep. And if you just attack with all, if he blocks these things and he gains 2, yeah, just attack with all, and I think you win unless he has removal. Yeah. This seems like a safe bet to me, too. There's not a ton of removal. Alright, well, looks like he has some, which is good for him, but he's at 19 seconds, 20 seconds. Yeah, if you don't have a way to kill one of these things, then you're probably going to lose. Well, actually, so let's see. He's up 2 to 3. No, it's still lethal. So he has to have 1 mana removal. So she's forcing him to either have Path to Exile or Swords of Plowshares, or Condemn. That's not a playable card in White Weenie, but it's a card. Well, it is a playable card. It's not a good card in that. Okay. Yep. There we go. So that matchup is over. This one is still ongoing. It looks like he's going to time suck Nihilus out. White Weenie's a hell of a deck. I really do love this aggro deck. Alright, Boros Reckoner, a thing that you can pretty much never want to block. It just always wins in combat. Alright, and ML wins the match. 2-1 and 2-1. 2-1 in ML's favor, 2-1 in Sung's favor. And we are on to round 3. Or round 2. And we're on to round 2, guys. Quick break. While folks get set, I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back. All right, guys, live again. And let's check out this game that started here between White Weenie and Reanimator. Interesting matchup. I think it's actually very close to like 55-45, depending on builds. Maybe 50-50. The thing is, it's going to be lopsided either way, whoever wins, but the game is really about hidden information and also the hate. So if Golden Lyn has the right hate, then I think this matchup can be fairly easy for him. And he also has a fast clock, so if Nagar Una gets off to a slow start, like he did kind of against the Academy deck, then it could be disastrous for him. Alright, Dimir, a Guildgate, turn 1, tap land. Not a common mainstay in Hunter card, but definitely a lot. It's not bad for players who don't have, tons of resources to spend on, like, an Underground Sea. Mishra's Factory turn 1's an odd lead. It does limit the amount of plays you can have on turn 2 on White Weenie because most of the best threats are generally 2 mana. If you're going to do that, I would say generally you do it with an Aether Vial play. But if his plan is just to attack with this thing on this turn, okay. But I think realistically he needs to be playing threats. Like Athalia could be a thing. Leonin Arbiter, I don't think he runs it, but... Well, let's see what he has. What are some premier 2s that you want to play right now? Like Thalia and... Thalia's Lieutenant, but that would be bad on this board. Alright, Selfless Spirit's not a bad one. It does at least fly. That is not dead. However, his opponent is going to be looting, which is not so hot. Because it means he can probably put some, 8 and 9 drop creatures in the bin. Alright, we have the 4-color Blood Mirror. So wait, did Dots lose that match? Alright. Elish Norn is a horrific one. If he can reanimate this thing now, it could just be game. And can he? Yeah, I think I would wait too. If I could, I'd probably wait anyways, because the chance of him on 7 cards having a way to deal with Elish Norn is pretty high, and what you'd prefer to do is just blow his board state out, get him down to 3 or 4 cards, then just kill all of his cards, force him to tap out for removal on his turn, or something like that. Open the Armory is not really what you want to be doing as a strong turn 3 play. You really want to do this near your end game just to get the most relevant card. Can't think of any equipment that actually punishes graveyard use. What does he find? Sword of Fire and Ice. Okay, this is not a grand start for the White Weenie deck. Okay, tap land, tap fetch land. The cool thing about Reanimator is you can build it pretty cheap, and sometimes you do get free wins off of it, and it's pretty solid. Let's check out this 4-color blood match. So we have... I like Knight of the Reliquary side of this over Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's fast, but Knight of the Reliquary fixes your mana extremely well, ramps you. Yeah. Dots is definitely favored at the moment. Alright, this is Sung's alternate account. Alright, Signal Pest faces off against Marshflat. Signal Pest on its own is not the most frightening one drop, though. The best starts tend to be 2/1s or Mother of Runes. Mother of Runes probably the best against 4-color blood because it keeps them from getting value with removal, and it stops blocks. Alright, Precinct Captain does combo well with Signal Pest, even if it's not going to do any damage this very turn. But if it's uncontested, then its invested upside will be much higher. Now, if she has Fatal Push here, then she probably hits the Precinct Captain because of the amount of the large amount of threat that presents. Compulsion's a weird one. Very cool card, old card. Haven't seen it in a while, but it is something that will probably allow Nagaruna to get after reanimating much easier. So, getting to dig pretty heavily here. Thalia is a solid follow-up. But, like, all of these cards are pretty much 10s in the sideboard. Yeah, like, this stops White Weenie. This is just huge. This kills everything. Actually gets around Selfless Spirit, too. I have to relook at it. Alright, Diabolic Servitude, which is actually a triggered effect. So if he had Stifle, he could stop it, but it looks like we're going to see an Elish Norn here, or possibly Gristlebrand. I'm curious to see what he does here. I could see either. I feel like he probably has, like, Journey to Nowhere in hand, though, so if it's Elish Norn, I think I'm okay with that. Well, I guess I'd prefer it to be like Gristlebrand or Gisela, just so I don't lose cards. We're going to see what happens here, though. I am curious. Yeah. Yeah, Elish Norn makes the most sense to me. That's a pretty nightmare scenario. Yeah, this is also getting worse over here for the in the 4-color Blood Mirror. Dots is certainly taking an advantage. He has Dark Confidant on top, which is a great draw engine with a life gain engine and card engine, Courser of Crewfix, so his ability, even though he's on 2 cards, to see more relevant cards is extremely high. Inquisition hits Sword. Okay. I don't think it's a problem for him to take 3 damage here, as he has a sizable snapback. Yeah, probably is close. I have to look at the deck again and see why I considered Flooded Grove? The blue-red filter land. Okay, well, that's nasty. That's kind of a pain in the butt, but what can you do? Does put an instant in the graveyard as well to make Goyf a little bigger. Obviously didn't opt to block there, because Dots is a pretty solid player. He's not going to just run into an obvious trick to make Goyf big enough to kill the Courser in combat. Okay, well, you know, Sognalis had some pretty solid follow-up. A lot of people say that. I love my obnoxious foils and whatnot. Okay, this game is ended. Let's see how these two are getting on. This is blue-red versus... well, counter everything deck. Well, if he Blood Moons here, the game probably ends. Yep, and that's the power of a Back to Basics Blood Moon. Okay, trade some tokens for this thing and take a boat of damage. There are a lot of islands in this deck, so that is the thing. His opponent's not really doing anything, though. Okay, he's looting. Alright, Expedition map. We're going to see a counter here on the gates. Okay. Well, if we see this counter everything deck meet up with 4-color blood in the finals, then I like its positioning. If we see, let's see where we're at right now, our match listings. If it's White Weenie, I like White Weenie's position against it pretty well. I don't think that's true, man. I haven't played Shift and Can Highlander, but the deck is very close to being Can Highlander legal. So alright, domes him for a boatload of damage down to 3. Now any bolt just kills ML Berlin. He's got to leave his tapper up. And realistically, all she has to do... Well, he can tap here, kill the Elspeth, but then everything's turned sideways. So tap with the Gideon's Lawkeeper. Yep, makes sense. If he has just bolt, then he wins the game, probably. And then he can send in 5 damage at the Elspeth. Yeah, if she has bolt, she wins, probably. Alright. These have vigilance, obviously, so we're going to leave the whip quarterback to tap down one of the threats. Okay, Orzhov a Signet. You see a counter here? Probably. Looks like his opponent's just interested in countering spells. Yeah, Signala's got him with the sword. Even though he had a very strong opener, I think. Just wasn't enough to get around sword. Yeah, Nagaruna wins this one. That makes a whole lot of sense to me. Well, bring in the Reanimator hate. Alright, we saw a sensor on that. And Spence's going to have to discard here, it appears. Snapcaster on Is It Charm? Probably to dig. Or Brainstorm. Brainstorm may make sense too. Brainstorm's probably better. Alright, he takes the first game there with a timely moon effect. Okay, Sandstep Citadel. Not a land I like. I'd prefer just to play... Well, the only way to get better is to play, man. Alright, so... yeah, that's still over. Any bolts? No, it looks like she made that play a little more speculatively. Alright, Bygone Bishop is a card engine. And dual tappers. Okay. Well, she already demonic tutored one time. Alright, we're tapping that thing down. I have to relook at that list. He's borrowing my list right now. I think it's close, though. And sorry for doing this right now, guys, but I'm curious. Yeah, I think this list is legal in Can Highlander. I have to look them up again. DTT maybe 2. Alright, Brave the Elements. Is that a game win? It's close. So 2. 3, that's 5. Plus 6, that's lethal. Unless she has removal. Looks like she has something to do. Abrupt Decay on the Boros Reckoner or the card engine. Probably the Reckoner because she's going to go to a very low life total. Or the Tapper. The Tapper is also interesting to do that with. Abrupt Decay on Boros Reckoner. It's unfortunate that her spell was not green because she could have definitely sacked him pretty hard here. Okay, well, we're sending in these things. Probably tapping down the Tireless Tracker, I would assume. Alright, Smiter versus Deathrite Shaman. We'll see. Depends on who has really the first walker, I think. And the Deathrite does allow you to get there a little faster, but on the draw, it looks like. Alright, 2 Mystical Tutors. What do we miss? DT and Mana Drain. Okay, are we going to Mana Drain this thing? Is it a Mana Drain into a Mana Drain? I mean, he's probably just going to get Academy here. Oh, it's the Vampire. No, it's Soren, which does allow her to gain a lot of life, which is not bad. Or make a flyer, but she has to attack for life gain, I think, this turn. So, yeah. It does mean the Noble can attack, though. And trade with anything that is presented as a blocker. Alright, we're tapping down the Tireless Tracker, I would presume. Thrun is... Oh. Okay. I mean, the Tireless Tracker gains more life. I guess it doesn't have Vigilance. That's a fair point. I think I would just attack with all here. Start blowing up the warrior tokens. I think you have to attack. Yeah, at a minimum with these two, but possibly with even the Nobe. There's a lot of life to gain back. The Nobe can be tapped. Okay, no, the all, yeah. It's too bad Lifelink doesn't work like the old Spirit Link, because then even the damage that the Saskia puts on the board would actually come back to Sung here. Okay, he blocks with a bunch of things. Okay, well, we're getting in there for some damages. Tap the Saskia, block with Warrior, and does she have a follow-up play here? Yeah, personal tutor should not be pointed. That's dumb. That's poor form, in my opinion. But what can you do? I'm going to draw off the clue. Yep. Well, so Ketra's Monument has probably been very annoying. Looks like he's going to get the opportunity to eliminate, or she's going to get the opportunity to eliminate one of the blockers here. Okay. Well, that's not a bad one to have. Tap the Saskia. Yep. Lose the 1/1. Okay, Coercive Portal resolving is a big game. A Delver, that's whatever. That's an attritional effect. I mean, it's not... 18 life, not that relevant. Oh, wow. Yeah, this game's over. Rest in peace, obviously, in the sideboard. Sideboard goods shining through. So we exiled all his nonsense. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, the White Weenie versus Reanimator match is like... close to 50-50, but it's a lopsided whoever wins it. Like, if you win it, you win big. Like, you just win huge. But it's not, like, that far off of a matchup. You know, it's just each game is lopsided. Because they just have so many haymakers against each other. You know, like you saw in the game one, you know, Elish, Norn, the Grand Cenobite, and then now you see Rest in Peace. Or, like, Containment Priest or something. Or even Thalia is good in this matchup. Yeah, probably just life them. Alright, transmute artifact. Probably transmute into what here? Could just be Ensnaring Bridge just to buy. Well, Ensnaring Bridge Curse of Portal is not really a combo. Should have tapped that for mana if he did not, for some reason or another. Oh, that's pretty cool. We get a big ol' memory jar. Never found mulliganing. I know they use like a different. He's a Highlander player, and they use a different mulligan rule. I think they get like the multiplayer mulligan rule. I never found it to be that much of an issue though. Like you can have just. I feel like most of the time you can actually have just as effective a decks as like a Legacy or Modern deck in this format. You have to know your deck though. It's not, you know. It's not an easy format. I think it's actually one of the more skill-intensive formats that I played in the game because there's just so much you have to play around and know and be ready for. All right, so Hisamaru. Okay, we tap the life linker down. It may have been. I didn't see your hand, dude. If you want to upload it, I'll take a look at it and see if I think it's playable. All right, this is lethal because it's going to be a Path to Exile. Yep, there you go. And that's the win right there. Unless he has exactly Path to Exile in his deck as well. Rebuff the Wicked. Okay, all right. That's strong. Well, she has one card left. What is it? Alrighty, so, and what is her last card? If it's a Kitchen Finks, she's still in the game. Alright, they're going to game 3, it would appear. Tight game there. Alrighty. Now, probably going to be casting a lot of spells into the mouth of removal here. Or, I'm sorry, permission. But we shall see. Alright, Rejuvenate appears like he's going to counter this with a 3-mana counter. A counter flux, or we shall see, I suppose. Alright, just hit a gate. Wants to leave up a secondary counter spell, I presume. And what else? Can you dump a bunch of artifacts on the board is kind of the question. You start gaining some random incremental life off of the Inventor's Fair. Alright, Candelabra of Tanos. Not a bad one. Alright, we're ditching a bunch of reanimator targets into the graveyard. And are we reanimating something? Possibly. Just a bunch of nonsense creatures. Okay, well, Recurring Nightmare is a beating. That means we're probably going to get, Gristlebrand, which is a big game here. Well, can you remove it is kind of the question. Because if you can, I don't think he's in that bad a place. Because Recurring Nightmare is obviously inefficient. Alright, Palace Jailer is a huge game because, it doesn't look like the Reanimator deck is a very big attack deck. I mean, when it attacks big, but, when it's sitting back on... I mean, it can draw 7, but can't live through the attack, so... Yeah, it's exactly lethal. And I feel like Goldenland's in a good spot here. Like I said, like these matchups, this is probably the closest game the two have had. Alright, so lead on Raging Ravine. I feel like she probably has some sort of burn in hand. Not a mana dork, obviously. Alright, Young Peasy. Well, these incremental creatures could win the game I don't know. It just depends on what Academy draws. Academy has a lot of dead draws. It's kind of the problem with it. When your opponent just sits back on counter magic, it can be problematic. Alright, a Braid on, I believe, Coercive Portal. That would be the most sensible thing to blow up. And Merchant Scroll for what? Pourquoi? I have 93, 94 hacks in right now, so my art is obviously different than it would normally be on Moto. I love this old art from Homelands. Homelands, one of the worst sets, but home to this card right here, which is a beautiful little thing. Finds a Dig Through Time. Cool. It's a good draw. Well, he has a turn to do whatever the hell he wants right now. If he just passes it, the game is probably over. If he goes to town here, which he's going to be able to Inventor's Fair for whatever he wants. Thran Dynamo. Close to mana neutral. Okay, well, that I don't personally care for. Alright, he's going to the next main, sacking this to find what? Could be Crucible. Crucible's uncastable right now, though. Could just be the Ballista to get rid of the Young Peasy. Expedition map, okay. Well, what do we dig through time into? Probably a bunch of counter magic. Okay, so Bob... We time lead. Sotari Champion is going to be problematic at some point. Alright, down to 6 now. You can just dig through time and try to find burn here. But I think that's probably bad. Opponent appears to be pretty smart. They're going to wait and see what Spencerbot goes for. No Tabernacle in the deck for Expedition map to find. Even if there was, I don't think it would make a big difference here because he's already close to lethal. All right, so mirror match. I believe they're at a 1-1 right now. Go block with all 3. It's a little risky, but no, she's not going to do that. I don't think I would either. Alright, so we untap the Tolarian Academy. What's this going to be? Dig through time? I don't know why you would do it right now. This seems bad to me. I think you wait and do it. Yeah, no, this doesn't make sense to me. Dig through time. Because you don't know what you want to find yet. If you're going to wait to do this on their turn when they have a full untap and have 4 cards in hand to your 1, like, then you wait to see what they do with it. Or you just do it on your turn. I don't know, with him on 4 cards, I mean, he doesn't have... His mana drain's gone. He has a Gainsay deck that we saw last game. Alright, we're tapping the Caracas down. Evidently, she's got a legendary creature, a Seam. The first strikers are going to be problematic, obviously. She did get a Finks. Finks is not horrible. Vindicate? Nope, just Thalia. Thalia is pretty strong, though. First strike against first strike. Seems pretty good to me. She probably wants to get another activation off of Johnny here. Okie doke. Make mana mana. Is this going to be an Upheaval? Oh, an Emrakul. Huh. That's a big game. Can't be countered, right? I love this deck. I'm glad I put it together. I am glad this is a deck. Oh, yeah. Against all better estimations, I would not have expected him to win via Emrakul, but it looks like he is about to put his opponent in the hurt box here. Probably has to attack. Be curious to see what his opponent actually destroys. And gets rid of here. If he goes for lands, then he can resolve whatever spells he has. No, he's going to get rid of 1/1s. Which is interesting, because I would think he'd probably want to get rid of lands, just to maintain his tempo. It's going to leave exactly lethal. Okay, well, he probably wants to counter something, too. So we shall see. Oh, he's dead. 15 life's enough. Never mind, even look at life totals. I thought he had 1 hit from Emrakul to take. All right. Well, looks like a bunch of trades happen, but I think that should favor Sung over a long enough time horizon. We'll see. She may just start clocking. Like, blow up the Anafenza and just start clocking. I don't know. I can see that. She can win the race. Depends on what she's got in hand, where the 3 cards are. Anafenza, the good Anafenza, the better Anafenza here, is quite the house. I wouldn't be shocked. Okay, she's going to keep that tapped. I wouldn't be shocked if it's actually the right play to get rid of the other Anafenza, just to make the threat smaller. But if she has an answer to it, that's cool too. Because his general card quality is going to be worse, but he'll top deck more of those cards. If that makes any sense. He'll top deck more threats, but they'll be worse than the threats she top decks. So I think it's about even. Like, I think the 4-color blood and the white weenie deck will top deck about as well. The 4-color blood deck will draw more lands. ML Berlin's deck is very bizarre in the fact that it only plays 26, which I think is wrong. But, you know, that's what it is. But when it runs, it top decks like a champion. Because if you have like your 3 lands, you shouldn't draw more. Like right now, he's actually on an inordinately large amount of lands for the number that he runs in his deck. I'm going to double check that real fast. He may have changed that. I don't know, but I am curious. I'm curious enough to break this up and kind of go see what he's running now. See if he's changed it at all. I've told him he probably should go up to 30, but 27. All right, well, he conceded one more. Well, but I assume the Inoffensive does get blown up now at a minimum. You could blow up the first striker. Yeah, maybe the first striker makes sense to blow up. Because she can give a +1/+1 counter to the Finks, which is actually awesome, because the Finks goes back to net neutral, so it actually persists again, which is awesome. Like, that's great. This is probably an activation of Raging Ravine. No? She's debating it. Depends on what she drew. I think she's in a good spot here, though. Crucible off of Mishra's Factory. Or Workshop, I'm sorry. Alrighty. I think you attack with Finks, too, just to give it a +1/+1 counter. I don't think that's wrong. Like, maybe it is. She didn't use the... she's probably getting tired. She didn't use the Ajani Vengeance there. Should have used the Ajani to blow something up. Assume the Paladin or the Porcelain Legionnaire get a +1/+1 counter. Although at this point, if he attacks, like, he's probably very close to dead on the backswing because of the Raging Ravine and just the large threats that she has available to her. Yeah, he's going to send with this thing at what? Ajani? Probably just take. Maybe not. No, you block and then bolt the Inoffensive. Yeah. Does he have removal as his last card? If not, then he's in a lot of trouble because the Ravine gets fired up, the Ajani bolts the Inoffensive out of the way. Yeah. Another 3/3 can be made here. Okay, Demonic Tutor's a big game. Is this going to get countered? No, it does not. You get Wasteland. And just go to town. Could. This is turn 2, though, so you can't play another land. Could just be Expedition Map. We'll see. It's hard telling. I have to see his hand. Demonic Tutor's a trickier card to guess on. Alright, well, everything has to be blocked. You're dead. Like, unless you have removal for one of these two cards, you're dead. Because she'll just bolt face. And that's that. Okay, well, I mean, that's good value, but it doesn't change the clock. So... And a Johnny bolt to face. Alright. Kiwi Cat / Sung wins. Sorry, guys. I was changing art earlier on MTGO. Was art hacking. So, what is going to happen here? Alright, Portent. I assume on himself to try to find artifact removal. Let's make sure folks are reporting. What is Michelle on? I'm kind of curious to see. Oop, wrong one. Green ramp. Mono green ramp. Okay, cool. It's a Cradle Hoof deck. Interesting. Alright, Grim Monolith. It's a lot of mana. Alright, then you can start grinding value with the Polluted Delta. She's not horrible. Do you have Fast Bond? Then you can just grind all of the islands out of your deck. It looks like he does. Either that or Sylvan Scrying or Crop Rotation. Nope, Fast Bond. Okay, well, that's probably a must counter. Ooh. Alright, well. Half of the combo is online. If you get Zurin Orb, that means you could just probably never be killed because you just go to infinite life. This deck is sweet. Like, I do enjoy this deck. I think it's very cool. Alright, turn 1 Mother of Runes is a strong lead. I wonder if she has Golgari Charm in sideboard. I think it's a good card to bring in, like in this matchup, because you can deal with an Anthem effect, and it can also deal with a lot of weenie creatures. She does run it. Cool. Well, good for her. If she has it here, she's going to blow it or burn it off more than likely. He only has 1 land, so greedier keep. I'm trying to remember if I put Wargate in this list. He could be Wargating for Tolarian Academy. No, that wouldn't make sense. Crop Rotation into Tolarian Academy. Counterspell. Can play around Mana Leak right now. I think if you have the negate, though, you negate the Fast Bond. This deck is sweet. Sylvan Scrying into... Oh, it's going to be into... what the hell is that card called? It goes into the workshop. Not the workshop. What the hell is that card called? It's not Academy. It's actually... what do you want? I can never remember the name of the damn card. So Fair goes for Zurin Orb. Zurin Orb makes everything infinite. And now he does it all again. And what he's going to do is end up getting the Inventor's Fair back, finding the Walking Ballista, and then going infinite with it. So, yep. Takes some damage getting this back, but he gains 2, so it's a net 1 every time you sack a land with Zurin Orb or after playing it with Fast Bond. This deck is... I love this deck. I think it's so cool. Alright, so I'm going to force this to happen. He'll tap and oblige in response. And what do we have here? Alright. Killing the Mother of Runes. Cool. Mother of Runes acquires a 2-for-1. Yeah. Walking Ballista. Alright, Elves of Deep Shadow. Well, She can probably cast most things in her deck next turn. He's going to take a 2-hit, or a 2-damage hit from this thing, but it looks like he's kind of choked on mana here, which is something that's going to happen on a 27-land deck. And her creatures will be bigger. All right. Liliana. That's a good one to have. I mean, it's not the best. This is actually the worst matchup for it, but it is a very strong card. All right, gets rid of that thing. Question becomes, is she gonna block with the elves? I don't know. She actually might. She doesn't need the mana. She probably also doesn't want to discard, though, so she may just use the Liliana as a fog. Like, it's an edict plus a fog, which is not horrible. Yeah, I mean, this thing getting exalted is kind of irrelevant. Because I'm assuming it's just going at the Liliana. Yep. Probably just takes. Well, that's a trade. That's not a bad deal. There was an argument if he couldn't play another creature to blocking with the elves, possibly, but that's kind of thin, I think. We have an Abrupt Decay. Feels like a Planeswalker, or maybe an Elsbeth or a Gideon. No? Oh, Saskia. Well, that'll race. That will race. And it blocks very well, too. She's obviously a little bit light on mana. I can see why she kept the hand, though, with... let's see what she revealed. She revealed Caryatid because she was light on mana, but she had a lot of removal. Values of Tenant's a big game. That means that the stuff can attack through the Saskia. Yeah, it really cannot successfully block either. All right, Tiger. Just tons of blockers. That seems pretty good. Gets in there with both. Oh, this is closer than you think, because these are all Savannah Lions, essentially. The Tasigur is an 8/8, and the Saskia is a 6/6. So that backswing is lethal if there are no blockers, and if she has any removal, you want to at least have 2 blockers back, probably, because the Tasigur has to be blocked. Alright, that gains life. She can also activate the Stirring Wildwood, so actually, I don't know. It may just be straight up Dead Zone. Attacks with this nonsense. So it becomes a 5/4 first striker, which means the Tasigur cannot block it successfully when it attacks on its own, so Exalted kind of coming back to be relevant here. I could see her blocking or not blocking. I don't know. Yeah, alright, she's blocking. I think that's a good line of play. Now, the 2 first strikers can double block something. She goes up 2 to 15. If she has removal like a Fatal Push or something like that, no, this feels like a Kolaghan's Command to get the Knight of the Middlegrin. Huh. Maybe not, but it feels like it probably is. Yep, it is. Probably attack with both, because, I mean, it forces the block, right? Like, I think you force the block here. Yeah, no, you go with both for sure. Like, it forces the block, which means the Exalted trigger is not a thing next turn, and you still have a block off your elves. Maybe not. Like, maybe there are some things that he could do. But, I mean, like, how much worse is it if he just draws, like, you know, protection from all... I guess black wouldn't work, would it? Alright, this thing gets a Renowned again. And I assume we're going to see an Elves of Deep Shadow jump in front of it. Yep, just chumperoons. Well, do you have another first striker? That is kind of the question. Maybe an Anthem? Yeah, another first striker. Okay, that's good. If she hits a land, she can activate the Stirring Wildwood and just win, right? Or she could have the Bolt. Because if he double blocks one of these, it puts him well into Bolt range. Okay, he's going to go for the greedy double block. Put himself to 1 and probably get bolted out, I think. I feel like. Sung's a good enough player to know what First Strike's going to do to this. I think, you know, I don't think she's going to miss First Strike here. So he's at 1. And bolt. Or just play a blocker out. Okay. Well, we shall see, I suppose. Putting him in a position where he has to leave back enough blockers to block every single creature seems pretty good, though. Alright, he goes for the Gusto, I guess. I mean, she also has to block here, but he just put the Saskia on the Elite Inquisitor and the Avestus Pilgrim on the 4/4, or one of the 4-power attackers. Huh, okay. Alright, Test of Faith on that thing. That's a beating. Well, any bolt still wins it. That is now a 6/6. Well, any removal actually still wins. So, like, Abrupt Decay would do it here, but Abrupt Decay would have done it on that last turn, I think, too. It's close, but... Okay, well, actually, no, she can just attack with both. Yeah, she'll attack with her man land and win. That is lethal. But First Strike... No, it doesn't matter, she's a 1. So, that's lethal. Cool. Just activate the man land, right? Yeah, she just missed lethal. She must be tired. That was a pretty poor play, but... Yeah, kind of sloppy on her part. She definitely missed lethal off her man land. The First Strike's not going to be relevant. It will stop the Saskia. Yeah, she did. I saw, man. Be funny if she just had Bolt in hand. She's like, all right, Bolt. Well, game's now over. Alrighty, well, that was kind of anticlimactic because we had a misplay there that cost her a game, but what are you going to do? Those are the breaks sometimes. It is a late night game, so... Alright, guys, well, we are into a round 3. Nope, not that one. Alright guys, sorry. Gotta do some nonsense. Oh, damn it. I freaking hate Gatherling. Alright, so that's changed. ML Berlin 1. Alright, should be well underway. Alright guys, let's get back to the game now. Okay, so we burn off a turn 2 Lotus Cobra. Strong. Definitely don't want Lotus Cobra to stick around. It probably means a turn 3 Planeswalker if you do. So Badlands, mana's perfect. What is this? A Luxodon Smiter into open blue mana? Thanks. Alright, Condescend for 1. Alright, it's just the ramp deck versus a blue-red deck as well. Alrighty. So, turn 1 Elves. After a Wasteland, turn 1. I guess turn 1 Wasteland, turn 2 into Elves. Grim's pretty good against Elves. Against mono green in general, really. Ramp spell. If she's going to play Elves, it's not good for her. Well, at a minimum, Soon has mana to cast anything in her deck. Possibly 2 things in a turn. Probably going to sack this Horizon Canopy at end step here. Alright, Forked Bolt. That's fine by me if I'm her. She easily has enough mana to run her deck here. So, I mean, that's not great advantage. She could also probably try to 2-spell, but I think in most worlds she sacks that at end step to find something relevant. Okay, the Elves get blown up, as Elves are wont to do. Nissa, not bad. Not bad. Alright, White Weenie versus 4-color Blood. Looks like we're going to have finals today. Because Dots is undefeated. ML is currently, I believe, undefeated. Yeah. And SpencerBot is currently undefeated, so we will have finals. Alright, turn 1 Bone Splitter, not an ideal start. Alright, impulsing for something. Who knows what. Could be just for some burn. Like an Arc Trail would be good here. Deal with all these little green things. that make bigger green things eventually. Okay, stacking a Brainstorm. We do have a... Manland. Manland's going to be good against his deck. We shall see. And Tasigur can grind a lot of value out of a blue-red deck. Obviously, any land tate's going to be problematic for her. Alright, well, Baral, a card I'm not really a huge fan of in this format. The only deck I've really liked it in was in Storm, because I thought it just did a lot of good work there, just to make things cheaper. The deck ran like basically no counters, but... Alright, Stasis Snare is what he gets. No creature? Interesting. Let's see if there's some more games going on. This is going to be starting. Four-color Blood versus Reanimator. This will be deterministic of who goes to the finals, unless if Dots loses his match, then there are no finals. But Dots looks like he's in a decent spot here, with no threats against him on four-color Blood, turn 3. Stasis Snare out of hand to remove his best threat. 4 cards to 7. Alright, Cobra. And attack. Well, he may not know what he's facing yet. The Deathrite Shaman is pretty imperative to beating this Reanimator deck, I think. Because he could just do it all in one turn, right? Like, he could just, tap 1 in a blue and then use Reanimate itself to reanimate a threat here. I guess you have to go for it sometimes, but I don't know how much I like that. Alright, Spencerbot, Glimmer Void plus Wasteland. Thalia is problematic for him, obviously. I mean, once the deck goes infinite, it's not really that big of an issue. But... Alright, well, Sung's putting the beat down on Rejuvenate. I almost like just not even like trying to cast something. I like just activating the Ravine and saying, hey, have it. Although 3 damage burn is a lot more likely than most other things. But I think she'll be happy just grinding out value. What did she tutor for? This is reveal, right? Okay. Alright, Vance's Blasting Cannon's not a fan of this card. I think it's too slow. Think it's garbagey. But, alright, Thoughtseize off of free mana from Lotus Cobra to see what's going on in the hand. Probably hit a reanimation effect. Sire of Insanity is not something you want to allow to happen. Alright, get a Mind Stone down. And land drop or no? Mind Stone can cast a couple cards in the deck to include like the Moxen. Alright, Liliana. Well, obviously his hand does not contain reanimation effects. Okay, a Banisher, a Priest. Now, does he have a bolt for it? I feel like he probably does. Yeah, he has a bolt of some sort. Possibly burst. Yeah, lightning bolt. Exactly. Alright, Bribery. Well, that's a beating. That's a pretty big beating. Okay, I've not seen anyone cast Dual Caster Mage. I think it's a clunker card, but it is at least sweet. So they'll both get to Thoughtseize each other. Although, the 2 life may not be irrelevant. It'd be funny if he accidentally said same targets. Okay, he didn't. That'd be so bad. So he gets to see her hand. Is she just going to remove this Dual Caster? Actually, now she could attack. Yeah, dismembers this thing, and then possibly could just fire up the Raging Ravine. Because now the Raging Ravine can get to 4 toughness, which is actually not irrelevant. It's actually really relevant. Alright, ML Berlin gets there with the White Weenie beatdown. It's going to not be the easiest of matchups. Like, you need to combo kill fast with it, or upheaval or something like that, or get an ensnaring bridge down. Alright, so looking at Sung's hand. Well, we know Tireless Tracker is in it, but that doesn't seem like the card I would just snap take. I think here I like her play of just activating the Rage Ravine, getting it to a 4/4, and just smashing face and saying, hey, have it, man. Have a threat. Like, have a blocker. It is a very cool card. The Dualcaster, that is. But him taking 2 down to 11, taking 8 down to 3 is not irrelevant. Alright, so Sorin, the Solemn Visitor, is what gets taken away. And I assume she takes whatever can block. Counter Magic's not relevant anymore. The board is to her advantage. So, I think that's... Well, this game looks... Well... I mean, Deathrite Shaman is up. Now, if he has, like, Exhume, this could work. If it's targeted reanimation, though, it'll just get a Deathrite in response. Like a Necromancy or something like that. Show and tell. Okay. Well, I guess we are going to see what he's got still. Show and tell is a big game, but the Elish Norn's gone, at least. And it's not unlikely that... Yeah, alright. What is this? Magnetic Force. Target creature or player at the beginning of each upkeep. Well, that's a big game. Now you probably... Alright, Necromancy comes out. Now the question is, do you have removal for the Force here? I don't know what the Force knocks out. I mean, it could knock out the Deathrite. And if it does, there's a legitimate question as to whether you actually just hit the Thoughtseize right now. Yeah, it should be... Actually, I think it's a good one. Alright, well, I think you wanted to dome him for 2 life here. Sun did not go for the most aggressive line. I think I actually like just hitting with the Raging Ravine over playing out the Blossom and the Tireless Tracker. More can go wrong this way, I think. Alright. Okay, this one appears to be over. I think we're going to see finals today. But we shall see. 4-color blood can just get overrun. Let's see how the Academy deck is doing. Well, not horrible. Worn Power Stone. Ication Javelineers, not an ideal one drop in this matchup. Alright, for Inventor's Fair, but does not play it. Okay, Coercive Portal. Oh, Vindicate, okay. Well, that's a strong one. Does he also have another reanimation effect? Life total is very low, though. Alright, Unburial Rites on Blazing Archon. Well, that could be enough, but I think... Oh, Elish Norn's gone. Okay. Down to one card in hand, right? Or two? No, two. Does he have another way to remove this thing? Yeah. Okay, Deathrite Shaman back. Okay, he needs to draw into removal. Probably just Lily minus, or Lily plus on the Blazing Archon. This game is still going, but it's over. Yeah, Dualcaster is a sweet card. Alright, well, I feel like he probably has inevitability at this point. Unless Disenchant's in the deck. Gains a life. I'm assuming he casts War of Invention. Yeah. He can vote with his artifacts. Oh, Buried Rune, getting back the Expedition map. Assume recasting the Expedition map. I don't think you want to search there because now you die to damage, right? Yeah, 'cause you already played Buried Ruin this turn. Yeah, I think that was a misplay. And he's realizing it now, I think. Stroke? Oh, he stroked for 0. Okay. And then sacked his own Mox Diamond. So you can get attacked for 2 here. Alright, in between rounds for everyone else, it would seem. Gain 1 back from the Inventor's Fair, which is not irrelevant. You're going to have to discard here because ML's deck is very greedy. And actually, the Anthems are actively bad right now. Jeweled Amulet. Good free pickup there. And you get his Crucible of Worlds here. Yeah, sack Inventor's Fair. You get Crucible of Worlds. The only thing you have to be worried about is Pump. He gets Walking Ballista. Hmm. Alright. So scavenging ooze under here. Yeah, it appears so. So White Weenie's getting off to its good start here, where it's going to be tough for 4-color blood to keep up, especially when it doesn't have the red mana it probably needs to do so. It's tough to race without red mana. Alright, we get a 3-2 in play that's very difficult to kill. Inquisition. Gonna cast something here, I assume. Alright, Cyclonic Rift. Just says, okay, well, I'm gonna cast this thing because I can. Force discards out of them. Seems pretty good. Okay, well, that is a card. Yeah, the Anthems are not doing him any favors against Ensnaring Bridge here. Problem that he's going to run into is if he draws 2 lands in a row, he's going to start getting hit by these things. Alright, there's another land for ML, which is strong. Well, if he can mana drain here, Exalted is actually extremely relevant here, because it means that he'll be able to attack. Alright, down to 2. And he's hoping to not hit lands here. Alright, Treasure Cruise going for it. But he lost his land, which is not good, because this Inventor's Fair actually lost his Walking Ballista too. Not very good for him. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, Zuran Orb. Academy Runes? For what? Ponder. Maybe he already has a Zuran Orb. I don't know. Could also have gotten Engineered Explosives, which is a sideboard card in the deck, I want to say. Alright, Mox Opal. Porphyry Nodes. Yeah, after you exiled it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Okay. Yeah, I think that could have been played a little bit stronger, but I don't know. I mean, who am I to judge? I mean, I did build the deck, so I know it probably better than most, at least that build of it. I'm sure there are certainly better Highlander Academy players. Okay, well, got a Path to Exile on top, 10 life. Yeah, Dots appears to be on top of this one. Scavenging Ooze is one of those cards that accrues a lot of advantage really fast. Double black. Let's say I would just figure green. Go ahead and exile. If you don't have anything else to do, you probably exile his lands as well. It's not exceedingly relevant, but it's not going to make Goyf any smaller. And if he has, like, I don't know, I can't even think of a Delve spell he would have. Alright, Signalis gets him. Okie doke. Draw one, bounce two. Okay. I think there's credence to just playing out the cat and then blowing up the Temple of Epiphany. I don't know. Alright, Forked Bolt, very strong. Alrighty, so yeah, Four Color Blood is winning this one, it appears. All right. I don't know if I'd play it that much. I mean, I don't know. Depends on the ban list. Alright, so... yeah, I think Dots is ahead here, but it's tighter than... yeah, it's tight. Because you have Deathrite Shaman, which is going to be damaging him every turn. We had an Unearth. I love Unearth. Spicy card. Is this the, is this the new art? Oop. Yeah, it is. From A25. Alright. Yeah, I assume she got him there. Alright, Colgan's command to kill the Thalia, I presume. Maybe not. I feel like it's a Colgan's command, though. Yeah. Colgan's command, discard a card. And take a beat down. Alright, Dots gets there. Alright, back to basics. Free wins. Although I suppose the coder can actually help stop this. Could possibly even erase it. Okay, well, we're getting in there for one a turn. The hand is evidently really good, so we shall see. And Sung is trying to race. She Gonna bounce. Well, if she has abrupt decay, she could... Probably dead. Get abrupt decay here. Okay, do you have abrupt decay? Because you can sack the scrubby land. Alright, plains. Could be Dramoka's command as well. Dramoka's command fight would be strong right here. Spell Snare or Pierce would be pretty good here. No? Okay, well, this is still Dramoka's command mana. She's going to play around having a Spell Snare or Pierce hit it. No, Winter Orb. Well... Okay, so... Okay, well, the board is at a minimum clear. And her opponent may time out. Alright, Mystical Tutor. I think her opponent's going to time out. Alright, Price of Progress. Oh, she can't live through that. So that should be game over with 0 seconds. Okay, so finals should be underway. Alrighty, so... Well, ML certainly has the early advantage, but at least Oketra's Monument has been dealt with via duress. We'll see what's played here. Gideon's Lawkeeper is a very solid card in this matchup because it generally acts as a mana advantage engine. Yeah, it happens. It's frustrating, but that match should have never happened because, being fair, I know you're probably tired, but you did miss out on an attack that would have been lethal against ML Berlin and probably put 2 4-color blood decks into the finals. As it stands right now, White Weenie appears to have a little bit of an edge. What did this thing get? Soltari Champion. Makes sense. Unblockable threat that is pretty solid. We'll see what he's got here. If he has some significant removal... Alright, so he got rid of the Gideon's Lawkeeper, which I totally agree with him on. That card is the biggest problem card that is in play, that was in play for him during that time frame. Yeah, we're going to see an attack. Yeah, I guess you don't want to really block and get back the Soltari Champ. Card's pretty good. Do you have like a 4/4 to play out? Like a Luxodon Smiter? Okay, Maelstrom Pulse. Okay. Well, that's at least keeping the aggression to a minimum. Now, if he has like 2 1-drops that are humans, that's very bad. No, nothing. Or maybe just not a human threat. If this is the line of play, maybe he just has removal? No, if he had removal, he would have killed the Tide Hollow, I think. Just a Council's Judgment. No, Porcelain Legionnaire, which does not get through the Stirring Wildwood. But I don't think he probably wants to just leave up Stirring Wildwood and hope that that keeps things at bay, because if his opponent does have removal, then he's in trouble. Well, the Dark Confidant could be bad. He should have. He should have gone for Crucible and then just locked him, just looped. Alright, Hisamaru. Well, don't draw Tassiger. Alright, Lingering Souls. This is a very strong card, but taking 3 off of it's not very good. Can't realistically attack with the Tide Hollow Sculler. I think you take the damage from the Bob. I mean, you get to have a bunch of flyers here. You get to have Air Elemental. He basically cast Air Elemental that cannot be removed by 1 spell, which is not horrible. All right, Elf, another blocker. Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. This is close to call. This is very close. Now, if ML gets like I can never remember the card's name, the card that gives you protection from 1 color for all your white creatures, then ML can get in for 2 damage, put him down to 3, and then probably put him to dead. Is the backswing lethal? So down to 14, takes 4 in the air, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus 3 down to 12. Yeah, that's a significant amount. All right, Glorious Anthem. He attacks with all. Okay. The backswing is not lethal unless Dot's top deck's like a burn spell. So I can see this play making sense. So he blocks there, probably double blocks there, yeah. And then probably single blocks the Hisamaru. He could triple block it. Obviously the Shadow is a little bit worse. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you probably actually need to trade with the Isamaru and give back the Shadow threat. I don't know, man. It's really tight. Or just chump everything and hope to race. Like, hope to mise. I don't know. Like, I could see just chumping and hoping to mise. Because it's going to be tight. Like, if he draws land off this Bob, then he's in good shape. But if he doesn't, yeah, Courser. Courser can gain you some life, at a minimum. That's not bad. But you're already taking life loss off Bob, and you're at 2. Yeah, it's tight. Let's see if he hits land off the top. That'll put him in better stead. All right, Courser. No land. Does he have land in hand? No? Okay, Bop, Birds of Paradise. Oh, cool. Another art patch just taking effect that I did on my computer. The old school Birds of Paradise art, albeit with a new border because it's 9th edition, I want to say, or 8th edition, not 7th. All right, take 4. Okay. Well, he knows he's taking 1 off of the Avacyn's Pilgrim. So I don't... Yeah, you probably don't attack here unless you have like a proc green spell. Well, what does ML have? Alright, Expedition Envoy. And what else? Alright, hang out and hope he doesn't draw... Oh, a Johnny is... Well, Johnny's to get drawn this turn. So what's after a Johnny? The Moment of Truth. Is it a land? If it's a land, do you even play it with the Courser? Or do you leave it on top in hopes that... Well, not in hopes, but in the fact that the Bob will not kill you at that point? This is an interesting game. Like, this is an interesting dynamic right here. I think Dots is probably dead. But if anyone can find a line... Oh, wait, no, never mind. He already drew the other card. So he's just dead to the Ajani. He needs to win exactly this turn. So if he drew removal... He can activate the Stirring Wildwood, kill one thing. Now, it still doesn't work because he's dead to his own Ajani. Yeah, you obviously don't block. You just take. Take it, and ML is probably just going to pass it back to you. Okay, yeah, ML doesn't block. I mean, makes sense there. And I'm going to get ready to do the door prize. So, sorry for doing this right now, but we're in between rounds. I don't see it being a big deal. So, let's look at the registration. Only one player did not play all their games, so Dots will be number 1. Sung will be the last number. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 1 through 10. 3. Alright, 3 would be Golden Lynn. Alright, so we already know who that's going to be. If it had been either one of these two, I would have waited to re-roll possibly, unless that individual won. But Golden Lynn will be the winner of the Snapcaster. And quick pause, guys, while these two opponents sideboard, and we'll be right back. Alright, guys, back at it. So... Swords to Plowshares on the Champion of the Parish after Icacian Javelineers is played on turn 2. Alright, stuck on 1 mana. That looks like probably game over unless he hits a land right now. So quick pause, guys. I think this is going to be a short game 2. Alright, back at it. ML Berlin is discarding here and just getting beat down horrifically by this 4-4. So I think that will spell the end of the game. Alright, getting slammed down by a 4-4. Feels like a Planeswalker of some sort? No, maybe not. It's a weird mana. It should be double white or white-red. Or double green for Garruk. Is it Garruk? No, just an Obstinate Baloth gaining some random life. Alright, the Javelineers are staved in their aggression. Well, ML kept a greedier one, that's for sure. A Sword of Fire and Ice. Alrighty. I don't know if he's still on. I think he jumped off. Alright, harm's away. I mean, I think you probably just pack it in here. Alright, does one to it. So it does trade with it. The Acacian Javelineers punches up 4-2 for 1. Still. Yeah, game's over. Alright. Well, Bob's gonna do what he does. This is when Bob is good. When you're at 22 life, Liliana the Last Hope. Maybe the final or last nail in the coffin here. Some players will not concede. This is a place where you probably concede, but you probably make a better mulligan decision. So, what do we have here? A Johnny for lulz. I mean, a Johnny just bolts face. Makes sense. Nope, Chandra, but she'll put him down to 7. Yep, that's lethal. Alright. Okay, and on to game 3. Quick pause, guys, in the finals here until we get started up again. Alright guys, back live. Ismaru, Hound of Khanda, first turn play for ML Berlin on the play here. So okay, well, aerial responder. Not a bad turn 3. It does race pretty well. It flies as well, which is problematic, but we'll see what Dots has to respond to that. If he has a bunch of ground pounders, this thing could be a very big issue. Obviously, Bolt does deal with it in a quite tidy way. But ML is of note down on cards, although once he hits his third land, his deck is running pretty well. So, I mean, he should just top deck creatures at that point. And ideally win because of the low land count. So we'll see what his opponent gets up to here. It could just be like a Maelstrom Pulse or something like that. Who knows? No, Birds of Paradise. So he's probably taking a 5 hit off this thing. I do love that old Birds of Paradise art. It does look kind of weird though with the soft image and the soft borders on these newer cards. But what can you do? Alright, takes a 4 hit off this thing for 4 life. Not great. Could just be slow rolling a Helix here. Yeah. There you go. Lightning Helix. That full art has always been pretty cool, I think. Good tempo play from Dots. Tied up 1 mana of MLs. We got a Soltari Monk, which is a 4 power attacker. Though Dots is going into 4 mana next turn, which is a big game because it could mean he has any number of Planeswalkers that are all castable off Birds of Paradise. And is obviously up on cards. Or he could just do 2, like... Oh, okay, yeah. This makes sense. So you just bolt the Soltari Monk. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be game. The Ajani is one hell of a card. Like that guy right there is good in this this matchup, especially if you can get ML on an open board like this. We'll see though. I mean, he could just go 1-drop, 2-drop here, and that would be pretty good as well. Obviously, if they're not evasive like the Soltari Monk is, they're a little bit worse. Yep. Sorry about this, guys. I am gonna do this trade right now, so I loan this deck out to Galrin to play. This is the 4-color shift deck you saw earlier. Scape shifting off. I think it's a very solid deck. I think he unfortunately just was kind of off it. Come on, you. God damn it. Alright, there we go. Okay, Thalia Herricathar, not a bad one, but it is a 1-power first striker at this point, due to the Liliana. Alright, so that's going at the Ajani. And his Dots have a 2-mana spell to cast. I mean, you could just fight it with Birds and Dromoka's Command. That'd be pretty funny, but it would be a blowout if ML had removal, which it seems likely he probably does, so I don't think you go for that there. When I say like fights it, I mean Dromoka's Command. Alright, Knight of the Holy Nimbus. Well, the threats are getting more numerous. Obviously, the Hissing Quagmire can block the Thalia out. It will do less well against the Knight of the Holy Nimbus, though. Although, it could tap the Thalia with the Ajani and then make... tap the Thalia with the Ajani, make the Knight of the Holy Nimbus a 0-2 attack or 0-1 attacker. That probably makes the most sense. Then you could block it even for value and get rid of it with the Hissing Quagmire. Obviously, the Bone Splitter makes it more of a threat, but the Hissing Quagmire can trade with it still. Okie doke. Well, yep. Comes into play tapped. Flanking will kill the birds. But the knight does not trample, so... Okay, 3 mana for what? It's just going to remove the birds? No, always watching to give this thing vigilance, and also give it +1 to its attack. Where does it go, though, is kind of the question. Does it go to face to try to draw more cards and get out of this? Possibly. Dots is being attacked by it. I think you block with birds here. Can bolt this thing next turn. Yep. It dies in response due to flanking. Flanking is a very bizarre ability. Very good, actually. I think it's great. But it's kind of sophisticated rules-wise. So, turn is passed. And even if he had hit, I mean, getting a 1/1 death touch is still pretty decent. Not against flanking, but meh. I normally take my Queen Marchesa out in this matchup, but I may have more to bring in to sideboard. Not a big fan of it in the weenie matchup, just due to the fact that if they're able to get through, they can generally just keep on getting through. Like, they get through once. It's not per se as bad as like the Red Deck Wins matchup, where like they have just a ton of haste creatures. Okay, he's tapping that thing down, and probably shrinking down the Knight. Well, he wants to leave up at least 2 mana, or block with the Hissing Quagmire. Alright, getting in there. Or he wants to just start getting 1/1 Death Touchers. I don't know. Or he has another threat. Who knows? When you're drawing cards with this thing, it tends to be pretty good. Alright, so he just exiles the silly thing. That's where these anthems are actually really bad, because like if you don't have enough creatures to get through this style of deck, the 4-color blood deck, then they can tend to overwhelm you with just better card quality, because like even with always watching, like this threat's not really that much better than like, let's say, Huntmaster of the Fells. You just need more of them. No, I play always watching in some decks. Well, that's like 100% going to get shot by the Ajani. Like, it just has to. Like, so he tapped down for this thing. All right, Acacian Javelineers, which is a 2/2 now. Interesting. I could just see him actually not casting a spell, passing the turn, eating the Acacian Javelineers with the Huntmaster, killing the Mirran Crusader with the Ajani, which is essentially a Lightning Helix, and then just shrinking the Thalia. I think that's actually good. Well, he's going to run him out of cards here pretty soon. So I think if you just pass, like you bolt with the Ajani on the Mirran Crusader to get rid of it, because this thing has no protection from white or red. Shrink the Thalia. In response, eat the... I guess the Acacian Javelineer can then bolt the Ajani, which sucks, but you don't really need Ajani here like anymore. I mean, you're drawing so many cards, and you already have some good threats down. And Liliana is very close to ultimating. You have a chump blocker for the Thalia in the form of the Wolf. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think I like bolting the Mirran Crusader here. I mean, it depends on what else he's got. But, yeah, to the Mirran Crusader. Pass it, knowing that he's going to lose his Ajani, I think. Okay, it looks like he agrees. He's going to shrink this thing down to a 2/3 or 2/2, which will become a 4/2, which is pretty much unblockable next turn. I guess you could double activate the Hissing Quagmire and the Marchesa. I don't think I play a spell here. I think I honestly just I just eat the Acacian Javelineer and try to double cast next turn. Yeah, you just pass it. Leave the Wolf back to block just in case he has removal. You can activate attack with all. Yeah, as I say, I don't think you attack with Huntmaster. If he wants to trade with the Wolf here, no. You don't need to do this. The Huntmaster should stay back. I guess it really depends on what he's got in his hand, but I feel like if he just passes, he has to spell here, like, and double cast the next turn, like, gains 2 more life, gets another wolf token, has another flip to gain some more value, I feel like that's pretty good, because there's going to be a lot of 1 toughness, which at this point are 2 toughness creatures inside ML Berlin's deck. So I feel like getting to flip the Huntmaster multiple times is going to be way too much value for ML to beat, and he's already at a high enough life total that, like, he can't really race him, because he's just beating him up right now. So this is like cast something. I really don't care for that unless it's like really good. So it'll depend on what he has, I suppose. It's a Courser. Whatever it is coming to play on tap, regardless. I feel like it's either Courser, Eternal Witness, or Tireless Tracker. Eternal Witness may be the best dryer. No, it's Finks. The old Finks. Okay. Well, if he'd let the Huntmaster flip, I feel like he probably would have won, but let's just knock out the Thalia at that point. I mean, he's obliged to attack the Liliana because the Liliana emblem is just going to just massacre him. If he attacks his face, like, he's going to get this emblem, but, like, it doesn't really matter at this point. I don't think he can catch up anymore. Could also just have removal. Yep, at Liliana, which is exactly where he wants him to be. Yeah, I would just take and just say sure. But then again, I wouldn't have cast out the Finks there. I would have just held on to it and double cast the next turn. I feel like that's generally going to end better for you. So this is going to kill the Liliana or the Ajani, one of the two. Probably the Lily. No. Probably the Ajani, actually, because the Ajani can actually tap down the Icatian Javelineers, which is like one less blocker. Yeah. Okay, Student of War, possibly with a double pump. So it's a 4/4 first striker, which is not irrelevant. Alright, Liliana the Thalia, then blow up the Thalia. Yeah, then just pass it. Just say go. Attack with nothing. Yep, there you go. Now start getting the value. Like, just chip value out of him with this Huntmaster. I really think this was the play last turn. I think it would have ended the game probably by this turn if it had occurred. He'd be down to Johnny, sure. But his opponent would have had the one Icatian Javelineers to attack the Liliana. And he would have had no Thalia, and he would be up. He'd possibly be up 2 extra power on board and 2 extra life. So, I mean, Kitchen Finks essentially did less than what just not casting it there would have done to get the value off Ravager, or Huntmaster / Ravager. So, Thalia down. And the likelihood of him being able to flip it, I mean, if ML tries to double spell here, then the Ravager will flip regardless. If he doesn't, then he's going to get too painfully behind. Yeah, this is a rough spot to be in. And I mean, if he does, then like Dots will just pass it again and kill another thing after getting a 2/2 on the board to chump the following turn, all while grinding value out of the Liliana. Yeah, if it wasn't painfully evident, I very much so like Dot's position here. There are definitely things that could make him lose the game here. Well, yeah, not really. Never mind. I was going to say, like, Cataclysm? No, that doesn't really work. Cataclysm into, like, Shining Shoal or something like that? Some weird Shining Shoal turn? Alright, Glory Bound Initiate. Obviously a very strong combo with Always Watching, but it's a 2 toughness guy again. So, Alright, 2 cards. Alright, so all he has to do is pass again. So he can attack with his stud. If he attacks with stud will get blocked by Finks and or Wolf, and the Acacian Javelineers will get blocked as well. My guesstimation is the Ravager flips, gets another 2/2, gains 2 life. And I honestly think just use the Liliana's plus ability on something. Probably, I don't know, the Accorder Paladin. It doesn't really matter. The Accorder. I think the Accorder is actually more... I guess the Accorder can be blocked by any of these wolves. You don't cast here, though, man. Like, you really don't. I think you just pass it. And just keep on grinding value. I guess you're at 4 minutes. Alright, a Braid. I mean, but you could have done that on his turn as well, and then still gotten the flip off the Huntmaster, and blown up the Glory Bound Initiate, which is going to become size massive on the following turn. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I like getting rid of the Glory Bound Initiate because it just keeps him on the ropes, I think, better than doing whatever he's doing here. We'll see what he's got, though. I mean, it could just be, like, something that answers this Glory Bound. Feels like a Bloodbraid Elf. And let's see what he hits off of it. No, just Siege Rhinoceros, which is still size huge. Does he have... Well... Yeah, none of that can be blocked effectively because there's no first strike left. And unfortunately for him, it all pretty much has to be blocked. So if he has a Lightning Bolt in hand, he can just win the game here on the spot. I've had a pretty good track record against White Weenie with 4-color blood, and I think that I like my line a little better for how this game would have gone. I think it probably would have ended up in a pretty similar spot, but maybe 1 turn faster. I do think the Huntmaster value line is just better, though. Like, I think you just get more out of that. And I think you actually surprisingly win at about the same rate too, because of the free power you get out of the card, and the amount of blockers you suck up on the opposing side. Yeah, it's gonna turn into a lifelinker. Gonna turn into a 7-power lifelinker, a 7/5. I mean, that can be blocked. Correction, at 8 power if he attacks with both. So 8/5 and a 4/2. I think you do chump with the wolf token here. Alright, Test of Faith. And he gets the trigger off this thing now. Opponent gets a Death Touching 1/1, which is not bad here. Don't know why he's not using this Huntmaster for value. I mean, you just remove this Glory Bound Initiate, and then like the life gain issue is not a thing anymore. Alright. I guess it still forces chumps. Alright. And probably gives +1/+1 to all of his stuff. Nope, just creates a 2/2. Well, he has to block one of these things. Alright, still an 8 power. It's an 8-6 attacker now. I mean, it's going to die, regardless of the assassin token. But that's the game, right? And you have to attack and gain life here. Yeah, you can't win this. I mean, like there are not outs to this. The assassin will block it. It puts him up to, it's an 8 power attacker, up to 11. And he's dead on the backswing, yeah. I mean, because Gideon turns into a 5/5. Stirring Wild gets fired up. I mean, I'm not doing the math here, but that's more than enough to end this game. So, up to 11 and down to dead next turn, I want to say. If he has another blocker, maybe he can stay alive. Probably not, but maybe. Yeah, he's got Stirring Wildwood plus Hissing Quagmire. Yeah, the first strike's not going to keep you alive. It'll kill whatever it blocks, but unless it's the Gideon. But everything else is just going to do you in here. Alright. Yep. And that would be game. Alright, guys, I'm going to issue out the prizes now. I hope you guys enjoyed this tournament, 4.26 Chainsaw Massacre. And if it's a format that interests you, I hope you make it out next week and give it a shot. Alright, guys, enjoy and take care now.